Hey y'all, Miss Kennedy here from Algebra Student, and today we're looking at synthetic division, which is something you usually see in Algebra 2, and hopefully I can make it a little simpler or easier to understand today. Go ahead and hit subscribe because I'm going to help you make sense of algebra so that you can move on with your life. That's my goal. All right, so let's jump in. When we look at this problem here, there's a couple of things we have to do first. With synthetic division, you're going to first need to know what number is going to go out front. So if you've seen this at all, you know that you draw this little upside down division looking symbol, and you need to know the number that you're going to put out here that you're going to kind of divide by. So, whoops. So for p plus 3, we're going to use -3. Now, how in the world did I know that? Well, essentially, you are saying, okay, let me figure out what p would equal for this to be a 0. And so subtract 3 from both sides, p is -3. That's the technical thing that you're doing. Really, what most of us are going to be thinking about is just, if it says p plus 3, we're going to do the opposite, -3. Okay. The next thing you need to do is you need these to be in order from the biggest exponent down to the smallest. And you're only concerned with the number that's out front, in front of the variable. So as far as like what you're going to write down. So what in the world do I mean? I mean, these are not in order. This says 15 and it doesn't even have a variable. This has a variable with an understood 1 exponent. There's no exponent there, so it's understood to be a 1. This has an exponent of 4 and this has an exponent of 3. They have to be in the order from the biggest exponent to the smallest. So that means that 2p to the 4th would be the first one. I just need the 2 from the 2p to the 4th. Then the next smallest going down would be 6p to the 3rd. So I need the 6. And then there's not a p squared term. So 4th, 3rd, 2nd. So I have to put in a place for that. So I put a 0 because it's like 0p squared is technically there, but you don't see it. All right, and then so 4, 3, 2, now 1. There's 1p right here, so p to the first, so I need that 3. And then none, or no variable at all, so 15. Okay, so those are my numbers. Double checking my exponents, 4, 3, which is the 2, the 6, and then squared, there's not 1, and to the first. The 3 goes there, and then no variable. Okay, so the first thing you do is you just bring down the first number. So I bring down the 2, and then you multiply -3 times 2. Well, -3 times 2 is -6. And then you combine those. So 6 minus 6 is 0. Then you multiply again. -3 times 0 is 0. And 0 plus 0 is 0. And then -3 times 0 is 0. And then you add those together. So 3 plus 0 is 3. And -3 times 3 is -9. And 15 minus 9 is 6. All right. So synthetic division is actually a shortcut for long division with polynomials, which is a lot longer process. And it only works at certain times. But if your teacher says do synthetic division, then it'll work for that problem. All right. So here's the thing. As far as we got this, now how do we write our answer? Okay, so it started out as 2p to the 4th. That was the first term to begin with. So that's funny that it turned it into a circle when I was trying to just make a little thought bubble there. But all right, so 2p to the 4th was our first term because that was the biggest exponent. That means that when we divide out this term, we're going to be left with something p to the 3rd power. And so because this was to the 4th, the answer is going to come down 1 in terms of the exponent. So p to the 4th means my answer is going to start with p to the 3rd. And the number out front is what's going to go first. So the first part of my answer is 2p cubed. And then this would be the p squared and the p term because, you know, p to the 3rd, p to the 2nd, p to the 1st. But there's nothing, I mean, it's 0. So we don't say, you know, I'm 16 plus 0 years old. Like we don't say that. We don't include the plus 0. So we're not going to include it in our answer. So 3rd, 2nd, 1st. And then so it would be plus 3. And there's no variable on that because that would be p to the nothing, p to the 0, which is 1, and 3 times 1 is 3. So, all right. And then we have a 6, and that's our remainder. Remember remainders from 3rd grade? I don't know, whenever that was. All right, so plus 6 over, and then you put it over what you started with. So whatever was printed here. So P plus 3. All right, that is your answer. Oops. Not that I did that very well. Let's try that again. All right, that's your answer for your synthetic division. Then I'm going to show you another one, and let's just see if we can make sense of this one. And I think just looking at it, this one looks like it's going to start out pretty much simpler than the first one did. So we have a minus 7. So I'm going to draw my upside down division symbol. So much for a straight line. A minus 7 means I'm putting a 7 out here because a minus 7 equals 0. We would add 7 to both sides. A equals 7. All right, so that's kind of where that comes from. It's just the opposite of what you see up there, okay? And this needs to be in order from the biggest exponents to the lowest, so 3, 2, 1, none. And it's already in order. I think there's something missing here, but that's what we'll look at. So the first one's a to the third. There's an understood 1 there. 1a to the third if there's no number. A to the second, that's nice that it's in order. A is negative 7. And then a to the first, there's not an a to the first. So if there's not one, then you put a 0. You don't have to put plus 0. You can just put 0. And then a to the 0 power is the constant. That's the whole number. So just put 6. And again, you don't have to put the plus 6, but you can. All right, so I'm going to bring down my first term and then multiply. 7 times 1 is 7. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 7 times 0 is 0. 6 plus 0 is 6. Okay, so if this started out a cubed, then I know my first answer is going to, or my first term is going to start a squared because it's going to go down 1 in the exponent. And so this is 1. So, you could put 1a squared, but just know that your final answer simplified. You're not going to see the 1 in front. It's just going to be a squared. And then this is a to the first, and this is the constant. And then this is the remainder. Okay, so I don't have anything else to add to that except for my remainder. And the remainder is 6 over whatever I divided by. So a minus 7. And that is that. All right. I hope you're going to see that synthetic division is like one of the nicest things you can do. It's pretty straightforward. And for Algebra 2, there's not a lot of stuff that's straightforward. There's so much stuff that's really confusing and just really tedious, and there's so many places to make mistakes. So this is one place where hopefully you can shine and get that average up and just enjoy it, because it doesn't last long. You got to enjoy it while it lasts, like a lot of things in life. So I hope this is helpful. Have a great day.